Hello, Salim from the Alpha Light here. Today's question: what about those who have never heard of Jesus? If God is all good and all loving, how can He condemn people to hell when they have never heard of Jesus? Don't you think that's unjust, unmerciful, and unloving? This is one of the most common questions people ask, and I was like, hey, I think the Bible speaks about this, so I will try and attempt to answer this according to the Bible. First point I want to get out of the way: God does not condemn people to hell because they reject Jesus. The condemnation already exists, and it exists because of our sinful nature. It exists because of sin. The condemnation remains when we do not receive salvation, which comes through Jesus Christ. We have to remember that for God to remain just, He has to punish sin. And the penalty of sin is death, a separation from God. And that is what hell is: eternal damnation away from God. For this reason, Jesus came to die and pay the price of death on our behalf so that we don't have to. The way that we accept the payment Jesus made for us and be free from paying the price ourselves is by believing that Jesus is the Son of God and that He did in fact die for our sins and that He rose again from the dead, proving that He was who He said He was. But Salim, what about those who have never heard of Jesus? Well, the Bible speaks about how God reveals Himself to everyone through nature and also through man's consciousness. Romans 1 verse 20 says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, His eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that man is without excuse." Acts 17 verse 20 says, "His purpose was for the nations to seek after God and perhaps feel their way towards Him and find Him." Romans 2 verse 15 says, "The requirements of the law are written on their hearts." Taken together, these passages claim that everyone has an inherent knowledge of God, that this can be clearly known from creation, and that everyone also has a God-given moral compass so that they may seek God. But the Bible teaches that not all seek Him, even though they see all that God has placed before them, testifying of who God is. Now, what about Jesus, Salim? Okay, this is my last point. We learn in the Bible that when we seek God, He reveals Himself to us in Jeremiah 29 verse 13. And He does this through the person of Jesus Christ. John 1 verse 18 says, "No one has seen God but the one and only Son Jesus, who has made Him known." The Bible, for instance, records a story about a man named Cornelius. This man knew about God but not about Jesus. Because of his sincere desire to know God, Cornelius came in direct contact with the Apostle Peter, who told Cornelius about Jesus. The full story, you can read about that in Acts chapter 10. In Romans 10 verse 13 to 17, Paul says, "You need to hear the gospel to be saved." There were instances in the Bible where people were stubborn and refused to acknowledge God before someone came and preached to them. There are many who will not answer the call to seek God diligently if they do not hear the gospel of Jesus. Romans 10 verse 13 to 15 says, "Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. How then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news." I want us to pray for missionaries and ask God if maybe we should be one. There are many out there who need to hear the good news so that they can be saved. Remember, God made you to shine, so keep on shining. Until next time, peace.